I think the obvious question is, where are we health-wise from your perspective? Let's hear it from you.
First one. Feel great. I'll leave it at that. Feel great. Ready for training camp, ready for the season. I'm sure heard Doc said a lot already, so I'll leave it at that.
Okay,
Yeah.
he did. Eric, we'll start with you down here in the corner.
Hey, Chris. Eric named Athletic. Let's follow up on that.
Good reporter right there, right? Good reporter, I know.
I guess just for you, obviously last year, you don't go the first. I think it's like the first month before you play 25 minutes in a game, another month before you play 30 in back-to-backs and stuff like that. Are you expecting a similar plan this year, or kind of what have those conversations been like with the team?
I actually haven't had one conversation about that yet. Right now, it's just getting to training camp and getting to 5-on-5, like Doc mentioned earlier. I think those are the first steps I want to take first, and then we'll get to that whenever it comes.
Ben?
Ben Steele, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Doc alluded to a conditioning test of some sorts that he had you guys do. Can you shed a little light into what exactly constituted that?
Yeah, he had conditioning test this year. I mean, we usually do every year. It's not anything special out of the occasion, but the guys did it last week. I haven't ran mine yet. It's just basically sprints, just seeing how good a shape you are in. I should run it soon. Just last week I wasn't feeling it yet. Didn't feel like I was in the good enough shape really to run. So decided to pull the vet card and save it for another day.
Back corner, Chris, Darius.
Yeah, Chris right here. Darius Joshua, CBS 58. 88 games in the regular season the last two seasons, but during the playoffs, even though they were brief for you all, you still were kind of your full self in that sense. What have you kind of learned over the last 2 years about just how to handle yourself, how to approach the season, and try to make sure you're at your best when it comes time for the postseason?
Yeah, just listen to my body. From one, listen to our training staff and our coaching. If they've done a great job of, I think, holding me together for the most part. I just had a lot of unlucky steps, I feel like, these last couple of years. So, it's just, I blanked on your question. So what was the other part of your question?
Just like what have you learned about yourself to try to make sure you're at your best?
Yeah, so it's just listening to my body, knowing, my limits, knowing what pain is, knowing what you can play through and what is not smart playing through. I think I've learned that over the last couple of years. And that's not saying I played when I wasn't supposed to be playing or I played when I should be playing. It's just experience, going through the years, talking to other people that's been through similar situations. And I'm always going to be learning something about myself and my body as I go on.
Jim, right here.
Jim Wazarski, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Good to see you, Chris. Do have to follow up yet again on Eric's. Were the procedures related, like specifically to stepping on the foot in Phoenix and then stepping on the foot against Indiana?
Yeah, directly related to each one, yeah. KD's was able to sit out for a little bit. The doctor told me, what was going on, said, you could play through it if you can. Same thing with the right in the playoffs. After I took some weeks off, just realized they weren't healing the way I thought they should. Went to get checked and realized just needed the cleanup process to get ready for this coming season.
Doc and John emphasized you are participating quite a bit and will be in camp, even if it's not 5-on-5. How important is that for you? Because in terms of the skeleton stuff or maybe individual, because of the lack of time with the three of you, with Dame and Giannis, under Doc was an issue. So do you feel like you might be missing out on some important time, or can you do enough that the three of you will be able to learn each other a little better?
Yeah, I think I'm going to be missing a little bit of, like you said, important time with the 5-on-5 action. But I think everything else is, I'm able to be out there, so I will be out there because that's important for us all to be on the court together, going through reads, talking, figuring out, where our spacing is at. But it's going to suck not being able to, do at least the first part of training camp when there's no live, where you can get those live reads, those full speed, full game reps and whatnot. But we will be talking. I will be on the court as much as possible during this week, so we won't be playing catch-up as much.
Middle of the room, Jamal.
Jamal Collier with ESPN. What's up, Chris? You guys obviously had a lot of turnover last year, the Dame trade, coaching change. Just one, what do you feel the benefit will be of having a full year of kind of some continuity into this offseason going into this year? And how do you think training camp away from Milwaukee will help you guys?
I think training camp away from Milwaukee will help us just as far as just locking in as a team. You spend time together on the road all the time because there's not as many distractions. I shouldn't say distractions, but, we have a lot more responsibilities at home with kids and families and whatnot. Your first part of the question was?
Just continuity, having Doc, having Dame here, a full year of these guys.
Yeah, I just feel like it's great because we're not playing catch-up. Last year I think we were trying to play catch-up as much as we could, and then also we were learning on the fly. During games we were trying to learn each other out. So to have a full year last year where we kind of got a feel for one another, this summer where we're able to talk and reflect on the past season. Now have this training camp. I feel like we're in a smooth transition into the season this year, which is hopefully will be helpful.
Ben?
Hi, Chris. How's it going? My name is Benjamin. I'm with 1017 The Truth. As we do know, we are in a presidential year. With that being said, I had the pleasure of being down at the Kamala Harris rally. I noticed you were in attendance of the Kamala Harris rally. I wanted to know, do you actually fully support Kamala Harris, or was there some kind of partnership just because she had the Fiserv Forum Stadium?
No, I support Kamala Harris. I mean, not very. Don't like to speak very much or a lot on politics, but I believe that we all should vote and endorse whoever you want to endorse. Believe in whatever you want to believe, but I think we all should vote. So that's why I was out there to learn, educate myself, hear her speak, and yeah.
It was a good time, huh?
Yeah, it was a great time. Great time. It was cool. It was a cool environment, a cool function.
Jackson.
Jackson Gross, Brew Hoop. Obviously, one of the big free agent acquisitions was bringing in DeLon Wright for that backup point guard spot. Had there been any discussions yet on who's kind of going to be taking point on that second unit offense when Dame's out and you still might be on the floor?
Nah, we haven't had those conversations yet. I'm sure that was starting a training camp, but he's our point guard. I'm small forward and shooting guard. I have some ball handling responsibilities, but he's our point guard. So I expect him to be bringing up the ball majority of the time when he's in the game.
Go back down here to Steve.
That's fine. Steve McGargy, Associated Press. And Doc had noted earlier today that y'all aren't playing on Christmas. Do y'all sense that y'all are getting overlooked at all this season compared to like the Bostons, the Phillies, and is that something you use as motivation at all going into the season?
Yeah, I think somewhat we've been overlooked. I think we should have had a Christmas Day game, I believe, but NBA felt different. That's how they feel. I said my opinion on it, and sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. I'm not going to use that. I don't need that as extra motivation or whatever. I think I've been happy, blessed enough to play on Christmas Day for the last couple of years, and it's something that I will always remember. Hopefully we have a couple more. But disappointed a little bit, but, it's not the end of the world for us or for myself, I feel like.
Chris, the far back to Lily.
Hey, Chris. Lily Zhao, Fox 6 Milwaukee. Just with your core group and then the guys you bring in and the young players as well, what's your initial gauge on how competitive this team can be with the Bostons, the Phillies, and New Yorks?
I think we're definitely in that group. You have Dame and Giannis for sure. You include myself, Brooke, and the rest of the crew. I think we're definitely one of the top contenders in the East, no matter who else they've gotten out there or who else has won in the past. I'm sure those other teams feel the same way about themselves too. So we're a confident bunch over here, no matter our past or what other people say.